I told you I am busy. I still don't have not been able to complete my figures which I can give you. Then you see you tend to lose temper. Now losing temper worsens the problem. The interpersonal skills teach us one thing more than anything else, is the patience. Patience, use different techniques, consider each person as an individual, consider that you have to raise your bar and you have to become more efficient rather than complaining why the hell you don't do it. But there is always a way to deal with any kind of difficult person. Yeah? Now there are some principles, some thoughts which we have to keep in mind. I am only taking the example of compliance because this is normally in the office is very relevant. But if you would like to mention anything else, that also is welcome. Any other situation where interpersonal skills are required. The voice modulation, communication, the language, these are very relevant. Your language should be simple as possible. You should be as cordial as possible. We run program for 5-star properties only in developing cordiality. So cordiality is a must. Second thing, if you had bad experience with someone, so you start with an assumption. He is only like that. I am going to him, but it's difficult that he will. So this is a negative assumption. Negative assumptions should not be there. Then, positive intent. You see sometimes what happens, if you have suffered like we saw Shylock suffering from Antonio, he is absolutely trying to, he reacts. But as an intelligent person who wants to develop interpersonal skill, you only have to think that these reactions will not help. They will only worsen the situation. So that means you have to raise your bar so far as your temper is concerned, so far as you have to try new things. That means every time you try new things, you have to deal with the same people. If you try the same thing, same will be the outcome. So you have to keep on trying. If one way has not worked, try another way. But the important thing is that how you speak and what you speak. According to me, you should be as brief as possible with difficult people. You should prepare. Preparation does not mean you have to prepare for 1 hour, 2 hours. Preparation means you may prepare only for 1 minute. But when you are going to the boss or when you are going to a client, so you prepare, you collect your thoughts. Okay, what is exactly what I want? When I am very clear and focused and do some preparation, what are the likely questions that may come from the other side? And if I have plausible responses, I think in all probability, I will do much better than if I don't do that. Yes, now each person is an individual. I am an individual, you are an individual. Many things will differ. But some attributes will be common. They will be similar. Now for interpersonal skills, you try to find out, which is not very difficult, to try to find out what are the similarities. Because when you have some similarities and you start talking about, for example, if you are fond of races, and I also know a little bit of races, so I'll start talking to you about races. Now that's your weak point. I don't say it's a weak point, it's a strong point for the person who wants to develop relations. You start with where you can meet and then try to bridge the gap, but never ever try to win an argument. If you try to win an argument, you may win an argument, but you will lose a fight. So don't do that. Similarities you will find, and then listen. The problem is when we hear the opponent saying something which is obviously wrong, according to me, then what do? I stop listening to him. Thereafter, I stop listening to him. I am just waiting. Let him stop, and then I'll say how is wrong. This also creates a problem. Be a good listener. Let him finish what he has to say. Rather than, if there is heated argument, you say, okay, first you complete what you want to say, all your points. Now, try to note down the points. You have said this. Repeat in your words. You see, so that the argument is dissipated. Repeat the words and then try to. Relationships are about perceptions. How I perceive you and how you perceive me, that is important. Now that means you have to build a trust. I should do all those things which can build a trust. Otherwise, it's my view, one should say when you disagree, I would say in that situation say, okay, we agree to disagree, but very pleasantly, very nicely. Because what you can do? You cannot also take things lying down. You cannot, other person is absolutely unreasonable. If you lie low, then he or she will start taking you for granted. That will not. Other point which I emphasize is assertiveness. What is assertiveness? Yes, tell me. Stand up and tell.
I would put it in example.
No?
Suppose is my friend.
Yes.
And I have given him something.
Yes.
And while asking, then I should not hesitate that, okay, I need my things back. So I should not hesitate, okay, if I ask him, he will feel bad. So that is somehow I feel that is assertiveness.
This is absolutely, you have given a good example. But simply said, assertiveness is when you don't say yes if you want to say no. When you don't say yes if you want to say no, but you must try to find out which is the best way to say no. So that you say no and yet you don't disturb your relationship. It is possible. It's possible only with the application of mind. Then the last resort I said, okay, if you don't agree, you say, okay, we agree to disagree, maybe next time, again we will meet and discuss that. But never break the negotiation. So as the Americans say, keep the opponents on the table. Negotiations must continue. As India and Pakistan, they say talks must go on. No, but I consider in a manner it is right. Now on one side, Modi government is very strong-headed. Explain to them, they have gone to Burma and come back, and their ministers were saying this is what. So then they are reminded, okay, what America did. So then these guys, they immediately say, don't consider that Pakistan is Burma. This much sour relations are there, and yet this guy picks up the telephone and says, greetings on the Ramadan. So this means this is nice. On one side he says that. Now the moment he greets, some fishermen are released. He releases Nawaz releases some fishermen, then Modi also release some more. So this is how you play hide and seek. But it is necessary. It's necessary. Breaking the communication line is no answer. So communication line you must keep. You must. That is of course not relevant. In our assertiveness is that you have to keep on developing, improving your communications. That you should find yourself comfortable. You should find yourself competent to say no and yet not offend the other person. That is assertiveness. Now then, a simple thing, project your best and expect the best. Then humor is very good, but humor is very difficult. You see, when there are difficulties, so a little humor is very good, but humor is vanishing from our society, and it's very difficult. So normally, if you want to have good stock of some anecdotes which are nice and humorous, some business jokes. There are some big books available. It is also available on the net, I suppose. So that you have to master. There is no free lunch. In fact, humor is the most difficult thing, and it is very pleasant if you can adopt a good humor.
Can you suggest some good song?
I can't often suggest some books, but I can suggest bookshops. So if you go to Kakri, or there is a small book shop close to BT, Ashish Book House. So they have all kinds of books stocked. So it is worth going to the bookshop. Then see. Now all those anecdotes are classified as per the subjects. Now if you are in finance related good anecdotes will be there. You can pick up some, then practice. Practice means you start telling some people where there is no risk. When you become adept, then you can use it anywhere. And once you start using it, same stories, if you have, for example, 15-20 stories, you have to repeat the same. But by repeating and by making your mark as a person with a good sense of humor, then your own mind starts working. Then you start finding humorous side of any situation, and then you laugh at it. And the other thing is, if people laugh at you, you should not be offended. You laugh with them. If you laugh with them, so the situation again will be very nice. But take initiative. For example, reach out to people. Don't hesitate. Reaching out to people is also very good. Now, this I have already told you. Don't stop listening the moment you think that you don't disagree, other person is absolutely wrong. Listen to him or her completely. And then you present your point, but at the cost of repetition, you must use the proper language and proper tone. Now this is very important, and this also causes big burn. Don't hijack the joke of the other person. Or any story which suppose our friend is telling, I had gone to Ladakh, and he is talking about Ladakh, and I start saying, yes, I had also gone to the and he, poor fellow, he is unable to express. I started expressing myself. This causes heartburn. You may think that it's not good at all. You must be an excellent listener. Make other persons talk. If you make other persons talk, people will love you. Because people want to express. As I said, roti kapda makan, in the space in which we are, that is not the need. Need is only expression. Expression leading to building of self-esteem. So therefore, if we want to build good relations, let people express and be a good listener. And a good listener is always a good speaker. If you are a very good listener, you will say something very relevant, which will bring you closer to the person that you are talking about. Now, what we were doing yesterday and what we will do now is also interpersonal skills. Once I was traveling from Delhi, that's about 6-7 years ago, Delhi to Mumbai, I found one story in Indian Express. The story was Super 30. It was called Super 30. So the story is that there is somebody, Anand sir.
Yeah.
So he picks up 30 persons, 30 students, brilliant ones, and then he ensures that all the 30 or 28 or 29, they get into IIT, which is a feat. So I was so impressed, I wanted to find out his number, etc. was not given, not even email. Then through somebody in Delhi, I could find out his number and I spoke to him. I said, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you teach? Why don't you come? We are also teachers. We get 16. He says, but we don't teach. I said, you don't teach, then how do they? He says, I encourage them to compete with each other and to collaborate with each other. Collaborate with each other, help each other, and compete with each other. Now, if you can create, because mostly the objectives are the same, even if there is a buyer and a seller, ultimate objective is the same. They may be sitting on the opposite side of the table. The ultimate objective is win-win. Win-win is the only ultimate objective. If one person wins, other loses, it's not a long relationship. Yes? So that's what I wanted to say. In short, again, useful assumptions. You have positive intent, and you should be very clear what you want. Find out the similarities, as I say, and work on that. Listen very well, listen actively to go deep. And now, how do